So the first question, Liz, and you have 2 minutes to speak about this, is what would you do to manage, and this is in quotation marks, the feral kids in the high street who are so intimidating at night?
Thank you, Stephen. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunities in there for the young people, and a lot of it is based on the work of the voluntary sector and the community groups that do a terrific job. We've got the community centre, we've got community wardens. I think it's about getting parental responsibility and getting them to take the children to the activities that are available for them. You've sort of thrown me with that question. That wasn't what I was thinking of it. I do think it's just about getting the community together to provide services, and there is a lot going on. There's all the youth groups, the youth cafe, the activities in schools, and I think, I've had people saying in the street today when I've been around that there's lots for people to do, lots for youngsters and children to do, and from other areas they're saying there's nothing for them to do. So I think it's about making sure people are aware of what's out there and encouraging them to use the facilities that we've got, because we have got tremendous amount with the golf and all the activities, the tennis, the sports. You know, I think we're really well catered for in there, and it's just about promoting it and getting people to use what we've got.
Colin, please.
Hi. I mean, it's an issue. I think it doesn't matter what town you pick in terms of young people hanging about. I don't like the use of the word feral, because I think that's it's about as negative a description as you can have of a young person. Young people have always stood about, they've always congregated, they've always, again, if you go back historically, used to dance in the crossroads in the villages and in the rural areas, and again, there were bits of the establishment, of adulthood, of the churches that frowned on that kind of practice. I think it depends what they're doing. Are they up to mischief? Are they up to criminal activity? Are they behaving antisocially? And then you're dealing with a different concept. Young people hanging about is something that's always been part of normal growing up. So there's I think you first of all got to divide the two. If children are misbehaving, then something needs to be done about that. Sometimes it's going to be parental action, sometimes it's going to be policing action. I think one of the key things is to speak to young people themselves, to develop a relationship. And if we've got local police in the town who get to know young people, then it is a case of finding out what it is that makes them tick and where they might better be, where their resources, I guess, where their skills, where their energies might better be tapped and better be used for good things. But again, the 20 odd years I've been in Nairn and living in the centre and walking down and through the centre and all that, I haven't felt intimidated. I think it is this bit about engaging and speaking to young people. There's a division, I think, that opens up as we get older and our interests are different and we prefer a quiet environment. But antisocial criminal behaviour needs to be dealt with, needs to be I guess, enforced by the police. Okay, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very difficult question to answer, Stephen. I think you have to agree that has and has not. A lot of parental control, a lot of people, when they go to school, they have to engage with the teachers, they also have to engage with the community. We need to speak to the children in what do they wish to see. They come from primary school, they move to secondary school. They may then leave school, what is there for them to do? Some may play football, some will play golf. A lot of them will have no recreational activity, and there is very little else in there for them to do. Children's play from a young age. We do have the links play area, but we'll speak on later today. But it's not a very innovative play space when you compare it to the likes of the Wing Park in the Nest. So there's so many issues that we have to discuss. Yes, engage the parents, how children are brought up. Where you have antisocial behaviour, certainly I would say zero tolerance. We have to make sure that we engage with our children. If there's any issues in terms of alcohol abuse or drug abuse, zero tolerance for that. Give us the police as much support as we possibly can as well. But again, also I would say the courts have got an active role to play, because the police must be frustrated sometimes when action is brought and of course just throw out cases against say youngsters. And these are the youth of today, young parents that hopefully will stay in there for tomorrow. So we have to look to the future and give them hope that it's a good place to be engaged in, to work with it. So there's so many things engaging with the youth. If we look at it today, then hopefully 5 years down the line we have offered them some hope, and then it'll be a better place for them.
Do the other candidates want to speak to this matter?
I wouldn't mind saying something, Stephen. I think really we've got to look at how you can stop the problem happening in the first place. I mean, by the time a youngster is a teenager and starting to cause problems, it's almost too late, and it's very expensive to turn it around. Now, councils at the moment have an opportunity, because we're merging with NHS and providing services for children, social work and health services together. We've also got to look at the budgets that councils have at the moment, which are under great pressure. And if you've got to cut, the one thing you don't want to cut is the early intervention budgets, the budgets that deal with the problems before they get to the stage where they become too expensive, and you're always going to end up with nothing but complaints, building and building. So you really have to work with families, assisting them to support their young people when they are very young. And that's where, certainly I feel, the priority should be for the council in the early years.
One of the big problems that we have is that if they are hanging around the streets, it generally means they're unemployed. And the real task for the council here is to create this, make this a better town, to attract employers in here with businesses that will employ young people. That's the big problem. Because if we employ them, I think there's less likelihood that will actually wander around the streets and cause problems. We have to accept that there are some young people who in general will not join clubs or other organisations. I'm off this weekend camping in Liverpool under a campus. Maybe you want to come and join us. We've got spare beds, sleeping bags and tents because we are always looking for instructors to help young people. So that's my sort of direction that I would go in with these young people. Yes, you can try and engage with the street, but some we will not engage with, unfortunately. That's just
Okay, shall we move on to